All right, good evening, everyone. This is Sheena Aline, your Caribbean College Planner and Student Advisor at the Student Center, joining you live from Toronto, Canada at the beautiful Sheridan College Trafalgar campus. And today we're talking about careers for our creatives and not a better place to do this than Sheridan College, which is known for all of creative type programs. And they have so graciously allowed me to have this session in their journalism lab. So I'm opposite the podcast. I'm not sure if everyone can see it, but I'm actually in a studio recording this. And I'm joined by my colleague Anita McIntyre, who's no stranger to the Caribbean, who travels all across the different country markets, promoting Sheridan and assessing eligible students and sharing information about studying in Canada and at Sheridan. And we are so lucky to also have faculty here. And we have our program coordinator of the journalism program, Cheryl Valender, and she's going to start first and take us through some of the options about the programs and then the career outcomes. Because as you know, the Student Center, our ideology is making career sense out of higher education. So without further ado, I'm going to stop talking now. And Cheryl, you can share your screen and you can take us through what Sheridan has to offer us and all the different possible outcomes.
Okay, I actually wasn't going to share my screen. I don't have
That's
anything to
okay.
share, so that's
That's all
okay.
right. That's great. That's
So I'm just going to talk a little bit about our journalism program. So
great.
we are actually celebrating 55 years of journalism education at Sheridan. And what I'm sitting in right now is one of our podcast booths as well. We've got a couple, we had some renovations about 5 years ago, actually probably 10 years ago now. Gosh, I've been here a while. Um, so I'm currently sitting in one of our podcast booths as well. So we actually have a 2-year journalism program. And in our 2-year program, students create content for broadcast, radio, television. We produce magazines and websites. So everything mimics real life scenarios. Our students have to be tech savvy storytellers that can use a growing set of digital tools. And so we do that with our students. We have partnerships with various schools, Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK, Riara University in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm actually bringing 10 students to Kenya in the fall for 2 weeks. We receive funding through Global Skills Opportunity, so it's a fully funded for the students. Um, we have a field placement in our program. So after the 2 years are finished and all your coursework is done, it's 160 hours. And we help with finding a placement. So our students may go into traditional journalism roles, but this is where it kind of gets creative that many of our students are going into communications, public relations, marketing, content creation, designers, digital media, and any other related field. Students also have the option of pitching their own project during field placement if they decide that they don't want to do a traditional role and they want to do something completely different. And they use all the skills they've learned in the program, whether it's video, editing, their entrepreneurial course. I currently have one student who's making a documentary as he fixes his 1963 Chevrolet Impala. So a very creative way to use all of his skills that he's gained in the journalism program. So one of the benefits of a journalism education is that graduates possess in-demand skills that are transferable. So critical thinking skills, research, communication skills are essential for so many different fields, which means that there's always a diverse career path to suit a student's interests and talents. And if the student decided they wanted to continue their education, we actually have multiple articulation agreements with various universities. So you could go to Royal Roads in BC. They offer a degree in communications. Griffith University in Australia, Manchester Metropolitan University in the UK. And probably the best articulation agreement that we have is with Toronto Metropolitan University in downtown Toronto, because it's only 2 additional years. So you end up leaving with a diploma from Sheridan and a degree from TMU after 4 years. So lots of hands-on skills.
It seems so. It doesn't sound like your typical journalism, or because I am a non journalism person, is it that journalism has evolved over the years to ensure that it's not just about reporting on a story through traditional platform, but it's also using some of the more technological advanced tools? because we all are more visual than before, I guess. So
Yeah,
you're getting those
absolutely.
skills too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too that somebody who wants to go into who gets the skills in journalism for communication, then those skills are sought after. And so a student who graduates from journalism could go into PR and marketing, but a student from marketing and PR won't necessarily go into journalism. So
No.
I think that it opens a lot of doors.
And so I want to just grab a little bit more from you in terms of the placements and how that really works. Breaking down your program and at what point will they do their placement? And is it that they have to find their placements or there's some assistance along that line?
So we assist our students in finding their placement. So they do their 2 years of, so our students just finished their final semester at the end of April. And so for May and June and July and August for some of them, we give them the summer to complete their 160 hours. So we do help them find their placement. We have a database of locations. A lot of places will reach out to us. We try to get paid internships for our students as often as we can.
Mhm.
If they're unpaid, then we actually, last year and this year, we have a bursary. One came from Meta, so Facebook, provided $200,000 to J Schools Canada, which was divided amongst the members. So we ended up with $10,000. Only 3 students applied for it. So they each got just over 3,000 each. And this year, the Google News Initiative has given us the same amount. So again, $10,000 for each J School Canada member. And there's 20. So we each got $10,000 to give to our students to help them support them while they're doing their placements. And
Oh,
so, but we just got it today. So I don't even like nobody's applied. We haven't even sent out the call for applicants for it.
and only 3 applied.
Last year, only 3 applied, but this year I have told the students that they need to apply. Do not leave any money on the table. So, yeah, if 4 students apply, they'll each get 2,500 each. If more, then I will have to determine some sort of criteria for how they're going to be chosen.
Okay, great. I know in the early part of your when you were talking, you talked about a Kenya trip. And so can you
Mhm.
give us a little bit more details on that? Knowing that you can do your journalism program and there seems to be a global element to the program too. So
Yeah, so we have a course in the final semester called Digital Solutions Journalism. And in that course, we partnered with Manchester Metropolitan University first in the UK. And basically, the students pitch an umbrella topic. So a
mm,
few years ago, they pitched the layers of loneliness and what loneliness can mean to different people. And then the students all come up with different story ideas, whether that's they reached out to seniors, they reached out to people who were in prison and conducted interviews and then built a website together. So we meet on Zoom.
okay.
And then last year was the first year that we partnered with Manchester and Riara University in Nairobi. And so we actually again meet on Zoom. Our class started at 8 so that the Riara students and the Manchester students could join at a reasonable time for them.
Mhm.
Um, and so this year the students pitched To Be Me and Stories of Survival. So then they kind of have that umbrella topic and then they pitch different story ideas and they work in breakout rooms and they work on uh, shared Google Docs and they come up with a project that is published that the students all have access to. So we're just in the final stages of finalizing a few of the videos and getting them posted. And then I can share the link with both of you if you want to have a look at some of the work that the students have done. And
Mm,
so, and then through that, it's considered a COIL project, Collaborative Online International Learning Project. And we're always
o-
looking for more partners to do that.
okay.
Um, through global skills opportunity, they gave us money to fund a trip to Kenya. And so each student is getting $10,000 in the form of a bursary
Okay.
to pay for the trip.
Yeah.
Uh, but right now, it's a lot less than that. So they will just whatever money is left over, they just get in the form of a bursary. So so they'll have spending money on the trip, but hotels, safari, and flights have all been booked as of this week. So
Oh, that's
that's pretty
exciting.
exciting. Yeah.
Oh, so I have a real question. When parents have a son or a daughter, they have a child that is a creative, and you know that there's always a concern with, okay, you're creative. How is this going to equate into salary, a job? How are you going to earn an income? And there's this inherent fear. And I know you may be familiar with persons coming from different regions. So the sector in some countries may not be as well organized as in others. So, what is a piece of advice or some positive news and options you would impart on parents who might have a child or children who are in the creative
Mhm.
field in terms of viable job options and how a program here could work for them?
I mean, I think that Anita could probably answer this as well. I mean, I think that in journalism, I love when we get creative people because we're designing magazines, we're designing, websites. So these are all skills that are really transferable, but also creative thinkers, right? Like how can you think creatively to come up with a solution to a problem? I think that once if students have something that they're really passionate about and really love, I think that the success follows them because, I have a student right now who she's she's gone to London, England to do her internship at CBC.
Oh,
But
wow.
she's really a content creator. She loves creating TikTok videos, but she's pitching story ideas that are being like I keep seeing her story ideas being used by the New York Times or they're being used by CBC, but they're because it's for her audience. She knows her audience. So I think that if you know your audience, you have creative
Mm.
ideas and you're passionate about what you want to do, then I think that success follows. So
And I
success
think that's
without
good.
money, I don't know.
Well, it depends on how what your definition of success is. For some is to be maybe very wealthy. For some is to be able to provide a comfortable life and do what they love. So I guess
And do
it
what they
depends
love.
on
Yeah.
their individual definition of success because we all define success by different base points based on our own individuality. So, but I know when I see parents' faces at the fairs or when you have a one-on-one with them and someone wants to do, for example, dance or they want to be a
Mhm.
journalist, they're like, so what are you going to do with that? Like,
You
how are
know
you going to
what?
monetize that?
And I see that too. I mean, my daughter dances and my son is here at Sheridan. Actually, he's in mechanical engineering. He's not in the arts. So I do understand having that, how do you use your creativity and things. And it's really funny. There's actually live journalism where it's actually performed on stage as at live, and it includes dance, which I think is so fascinating. I'm going to be seeing some of it at a conference in June, and I'm so excited to see how it's done because I just think there's so many creative ways to present information. And I think people absorb that information better when it's presented creatively and
Yeah.
visually. And I'm a visual learner. So, I mean, I teach data journalism, which people always get scared of because they think it's all numbers, but it's those visuals that help tell a story. So, lots of opportunities.
Lots of opportunities. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for
Thank you.
staying the course and waiting until I arrived and I got here. And I thank you for your input and for talking about the journalism program. So, folks, you've heard it. You're not heard it from me or Anita. You've heard it directly from the program coordinator here at Sheridan, who's in charge of the journalism program. So many transferable skills, not just the traditional means of journalism, but you also have the digitized version using different technologies. So you could be a content creator. You also have digital skills. You can go into website content. You can create your art and have different pipelines and different career opportunities for yourself. And also you have an opportunity to create a global network even while you're here at Sheridan. We're through the online program where they connect with persons in the UK and also Kenya. And now that has translated into an actual trip going to Nairobi and opportunities to get that funded as well. So lots of opportunities and lots of interesting components to your program. Definitely different from when I started college of over 20 years ago, how a journalism program can look. And not that you will just go into journalism, but you could go into communications, you could go into marketing, you could go into full social media, how you tell your stories and how you
Absolutely.
decide to monetize your content and your skill set. So thank you so much, Carol. I know you have to run, but I
Yes,
really
thank
do
you.
appreciate your time. So I hope that for those of you who are watching on Facebook, for those of you who are on the Zoom, if you have any questions, put them through the Q&A or the chat option. Anita and I will get to them, but let's wish Cheryl a very blessed evening.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Anita, are you ready?
I am. Okay, I have like multiple screens going here, so let me share my screen here. All right. Um,
So we're going to have a brief presentation here by Anita McIntyre, who is the representative for the Caribbean region on behalf of Sheridan College. And some of you will know her face already from seeing her at the Cut Fest fairs throughout the Caribbean and hoping to see her again this upcoming fall.
Thank you. All right, just trying to share my screen. Right, you are not supposed to be yet. Okay. Right, one more time. Okay.
All right.
All right, you can see my screen okay now?
I can see it. It's not in presentation mode yet, but yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. Okay. Now I'm just trying to get my video back. Okay, I think we're good now.
Right?
Okay. So good evening, everyone.
You want to put it back in presentation mode?
Yes, thanks. Okay. So at Sheridan College, we offer many types of different creative arts-based programs, both at the undergraduate and at the postgraduate level. We have a faculty of animation arts and design. We are one of the largest art schools in Canada, offering the most wide variety of range of different creative programs. We offer programs that are 1-year certificates, 2-year diplomas, 3-year advanced diplomas, 4-year bachelor degrees, and 1-year postgraduate programs. So again, at all credentials as well. In our Faculty of Animation Arts and Design, we have over 30 programs in this faculty, so I'm not going to list them and go through them all. I would say the main areas are animation and game design, different types of design, whether it be interior design or interior decorating, illustration, photography, film, TV, journalism, which you just heard our coordinator of journalism speak, material art and design, and visual and performing arts. Majority of our programs, excuse me, have what's called a work integrated learning component. So you may be familiar with terms such as co-op, internship, field placements. All of these are work integrated components where you are actually being able to get hands-on work experience incorporated into your program. All of our bachelor degrees have a mandatory internship component. Though as you can imagine, this is extremely valuable. It gives students the opportunity to receive that hands-on experience. So when they graduate, they have the educational background, but they have all the training, skills, training, and experience needed in their specific field of study. So this really gives them an advantage when they graduate. Our co-op placements and internships are majority are paid work terms. Our field placements are unpaid. Now, we offer a lot of career services. So we have an online job board posting, which is, it's a portal that's called Sheridan Works. And this is where jobs are posted for our students, our current students, as well as our graduates can use this platform to view job postings. To help connect you with employers, we offer a lot of different events. So it could be career fairs, industry-specific employer sessions. We do employer coffee chats and networking events, employer recruitment events, lots of different workshops we have for students as well, how to create or how to find a job, how to create, you know, a stunning resume, how to really ace that interview, just to name a few. So lots and lots of support on workshops for our students as well. Again, a lot of one-on-one appointments as well, if you like to speak to one of our career service staff members as well. Sheridan graduate. So this is for current students, but as a graduate, it could be years later, you can still use our services as well. So that's another thing that we have for current students as well as graduates. And I really do think our graduates do really well because they are well equipped with, again, all the skills, knowledge, and experience in order to be successful in their field of study. Our faculty are exceptional. Many of them work or have still strong connections to the industry that they're teaching in. We have alumni that have been, you know, nominated and have won Oscars and Emmys, awards at the Toronto International Film Festival, and have secured big, you know, jobs at big and small companies, you know, big companies like Facebook or Google, Disney, Pixar, just to name a few. So our students do really well. Sheridan, we offer over 130 different programs in different fields, but we are, I would say, most famously known is for our Faculty of Animation Arts and Design. Our animation is usually ranked #1 or #2 in the world year after year. So we do have a very strong reputation in that field. Were there specific questions, or I'd send it back to give it back to you, Sheena, if you had any questions or anything else you want me to expand on as well?
I want to expand on the animation, and there's a reason for this because we do have students who are interested in applying to the animation,
Yeah.
but I think it's underestimated how tough it is to get into this program.
Yes.
So I would like you to walk us through the process of the application.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to the portfolio part. So if you can give us a little bit more detail on how to apply for the animation and how the level of expertise you must have to come in, because you're not looking for someone at the very basic level based on the type of applicants you get. So can you give us a little bit more? Because what we found that students don't often complete the application process. So give us some more about your animation program.
Okay, for sure. So our animation program is definitely very competitive because it's ranked so high across the world. We have applicants applying from everywhere. So it is a competitive program. With regards to basic admission requirements and how to apply, we are looking at your high school. You've completed high school, so in the Caribbean, your CXCs. We do take students after CSEC. You do need English. You need a minimum of 6 CSEC subjects for our degree programs, and animation is a degree program. You do need English, and you need a visual art at CSEC. for admission into the program. Now, once you submit an application, the next step in the application process for that program is a portfolio. So many of our arts degree programs is a portfolio-based program. So after you submit your application, you will be given specific instructions on what to submit as your portfolio. It is very detailed. It is very specific on all the items that you need to submit in your portfolio. So my advice is always to make sure that you've covered all the things that they're asking for, because it is another way that they're assessing you, is to make sure that you're able to follow those instructions as well. The animation program is definitely not one at the beginner level. It is in the sense of for animation, but you do have to have very strong art skills. We have a program called Art Fundamentals, another one that's called Visual and Creative Arts. These are two programs that we highly recommend to anybody who's interested in animation. It's a great program to really strengthen your art skills. It really helps you build pieces towards applying for your portfolio. It also helps you maybe discover some of your other strengths in arts, and maybe even look at some of our other programs. We have other amazing programs like illustration or game design or film and television, interaction design. We have so many different arts programs. And I think a lot of times animation is what people know. They're familiar with that. But, you know, I think we all know what we've been exposed to. So, for example, Sheridan has a program called Interaction Design, and a lot of people don't know what that is. Or experiential design. Well, what is that, right? So, interaction design really focuses on how people engage with all forms of digital technology, including like mobile devices, any collaborative interfaces, and global networks. So interaction designers are creative problem solvers who find ways to integrate technology into our lives by creating new products, developing better applications, generating more compelling content. And then again, because it's a degree program, during the fourth year, students will complete a variety of projects, some individually, some in a team-based environment, to and demonstrate their creativity and communication skills and tech-savvy skills. So again, people who are interested in the creative arts, you know, I really hope that they look at some of the other really interesting things. And as we are moving, as the world is changing so rapidly and so technology heavy, like these are really the new upcoming programs. And there are jobs in these fields, and all of our programs that we offer really are designed to lead you to a specific career. Experiential design is the way in which we interact with our surroundings. So like the demand, there's a demand that is growing for designers who create a multi-sensory physical environments that communicate, right? So when we walk into a space, what do we see? What do we hear? What do we smell? What do we experience? And really looking at how to create inclusive and dynamic experiences that connect people and places and contents in exciting ways. So I know that kind of drifted onto a whole other area of your animation
And to that, I
question.
never heard of really. So that's great to know that there are
Yeah.
other emerging areas that are developing. I know Canada is known as Hollywood North because a lot of the films and shows that we watch
Yeah.
are actually produced, filmed here.
Yeah.
Due to it's probably might be cheaper to do it. Some of the major Hollywood films are actually done in Canada. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of options for students to consider when they are looking at the creative, and just understanding now the different occupations or skill sets that are emerging that are required, then they can match it to the different programs that you offer and choose one based on their personal preferences, their budget, their academics, and so forth. I have a question here coming from Abigail.
Mhm.
She's asking, does the CSET subject requirements also apply to mature students? And also, does Sheridan offer interdisciplinary programs for students who are interested in more than one discipline?
Okay, so going back to the CSET question, it doesn't matter your age as long as you meet the admission requirements. So if you have the CSEC results, it doesn't matter of the age. That's what we were going to be looking at for admission into the program. At Sheridan, we do not do majors and minors, so you can only do one program at a time. So you would have to choose. Now, we do have seen students who have done one program and then, went on to the next program, but you really do have to choose one of the streams. Now, majority of our programs are very specific. However, we do have a program called Visual and Creative Arts where you do get some exposure to a variety of different arts courses in that program. But yes, you can only study one program at a time.
Yeah, Abigail, I hope that answers your question. And a few things that I know that we're in Canada now, and Canada has been a buzzword or a topic of interest these last couple of months. So I want to use this forum to clear a few myths that are going out there, perceptions that are going out there. So I know that there have been changes to the regulations, the immigration regulations for international students, but let's speak about the cap and what it means and PAL eligible programs. So I know you have we're looking at creative arts programs today. And so are these programs PAL eligible?
Yeah, great question. So all of the programs at Sheridan that we offer are PAL eligible. So there is no programs that we're offering that is not eligible. With regards to the cap, Sheridan wasn't really greatly affected by that cap. So we're happy. We're still welcoming many students. So please, if you're concerned about maybe not applying because of the cap, please don't be concerned with that. As long as you are, a genuine student, then you want to come to study in Canada. If you're interested in applying to Sheridan, please, we are very much welcoming international students. And like I said, we have quite a few seats that are available for international students.
Okay. And I know you talked about art fundamentals. And is that also, and when I say PAL, sorry everyone, provincial attestation letter, which if you're going to the US, it would be something like your I-20. If you're going to the UK, it would be something like your CAS, your confirmation of acceptance of studies letter. So this is just now an added piece of documentation that you will have going forward before. Once you get accepted one time, you could just apply with the offer letter, but now you have to go through a process to get this letter issued. It's just another step. Nothing too major. It involves usually paying your tuition fees for semester one, or some schools might just have a deposit. So once you meet that criteria, usually your PAL is typically issued. So nothing to worry or fear about. And persons from our region should be quite fine to continue considering Canada as an option if it's one of these study destinations. So I just want to go, I know you have diploma programs and you said you require 6 CSECs for the degree programs, but can we recap for those diploma programs, which are post-secondary level, what are the requirements admission-wise?
Yes. So for our diploma programs, we only require a minimum of 5 CSEC subjects, where our degrees require 6. So that's one of the main differences. We require English for all of our programs. Then the admission requirements will slightly change depending on the program you're applying to. So again, if you're applying to something like Art Fundamentals, you just need the 5 CSEC English and that's it. There's no portfolio, there's no visual art needed, because it's more of a foundation program helping you to then advance on. If you're applying to things like animation, illustration, those types of programs, it will ask for a visual art. We do have some art programs, like I said, that don't have the visual art requirement, but many of them do. Math is another one that is more common in our other programs. a little less in our Faculty of Animation Arts and Design. So again, the admission requirements will slightly vary depending on the program, but that's kind of in general what you'll require. And on our website, it will tell you what subject it is that you require at the CSEC level. And we are looking at grades 1 to minimum 3 for admission into our programs. And if your program has a portfolio requirement, you will be instructed after you submit your application. Our deadline date to apply, if you're looking to start in September, is usually February 1st. However, students applying to portfolio-based programs, I recommend they apply by the end of December. And the reason why is because once you apply, you have access to the portfolio requirements. So that's when it's going to tell you all the things that you need to work on to build your portfolio. Now, for most of our programs, portfolios are due near the end of February. So a person who just applies by February 1st, you only have a couple of weeks to put it together. But if you apply November, December, you're going to have all of, remember, December, January, February to put it together. So the earlier you apply, the better. Our applications typically open early to mid-October of the previous year. So October 24 is when the application will open for September 25. And portfolio requirements are usually ready, I would say near the end of October, typically, beginning of November. So again, the earlier you apply, the more time you have to work on your portfolio.
Okay. So if there are any other questions that you want to pose now, this is the time. This is Sheena Ali, your Caribbean College planner and student advisor at the Student Center, live at Sheridan College at their Trafalgar campus here in Oakville. Sorry for the very late start, some issues beyond our control to get here. But we're here and we're exploring careers for creative. Sheridan is known for their many creative programs. We had the program coordinator, Cheryl, for the journalism program, speaking about journalism and all the different extensions that journalism can lead to, whether you want to go into content creation, whether you want to be in the digital creator. Even if you want to go through still traditional means of journalism, you can encompass in all the latest skill sets and knowledge that evolve today. So you can even go on to marketing, you can go into public relations, you go into communications. And then Sheridan is known for its animation and film and TV production type programs. We all know that Canada is Hollywood North. You guys have the theater district, which I was exploring over the weekend. Persons have gone on from Sheridan to work at different types of companies, whether it's the large Hollywood type ones to the smaller ones and different facets. So there are options. So don't get scared if you have a child who's a creative. There are options for you. If you are considering Sheridan, I must say out here, this is one of my favorite campuses for Sheridan. Out here in Oakville, is a lovely campus. It really looks in their podcast, their journalism lab. So as you can see here, equipped like a real radio station. Then they have the podcast lab next door where Anita is. All different types of equipment for you to practice your skills and gain the knowledge you need to start your careers. I don't see any more questions, but what I will do is say thank you so much, Anita, and to Cheryl for taking the time to stay on and wait until I got here and for hosting me in these lovely facilities. I want to thank the troopers on Zoom for still logging in back in. Thank you for your time and your questions. Um, this is going to be recorded, and for those who missed it, we will put it back up. It will be available soon on Facebook, and we will also load it up onto our Instagram and our YouTube channel. For the month of May, we have been exploring a number of different career options. We had hospitality. Last week, I was in Alberta with the oil and gas. Lots of opportunities, job opportunities, especially out there for Alberta, given that oil and gas is 30% of their revenues out there. And there's a lot of opportunities there. And now we have for the creatives, everyone tries to stay away from that or scared of that, but there are many job opportunities. And if COVID taught us nothing, creatives kept us entertained during COVID. So there are job and career opportunities for you And there are several programs available offered by Sheridan. Look for Sheridan coming to the region back again, probably for Cup Fest. Cup Fest will be in Barbados, St. Lucia, and Jamaica this October and November. So definitely look and see when we will be passing through. Plus, still keep check on our webinars. Have a good evening, everyone. We'll be back in another week or two when we land back in Barbados, going through another set of webinars, exploring different aspects. No delays because I'll be back home in the office. So no delays, hopefully. Have a good evening, everyone. Take care. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Bye.